maybe we will start, each one of you can tell about himself in like 1 minute, and what is relationship to the issue of ultra-Orthodox high-tech. Arik, please.
Okay, Arik Kleinstein. I'm a partner at an Israeli venture capital fund called Glilot Capital. We are an early stage fund investing mostly in software companies.
Raoul Stein. I'm a partner with Kreos Capital, is a European venture fund. I've been involved with Moshe now for many years. Actually, we started somewhere in Cafe in Bnei Brak. That was our first meeting. I grew up in the Haredi environment, went to a Haredi school. I grew up in Europe, came to Israel and understood that there's a lot of work to do in the industry. Together with Arik, I sit on the same investment committee for 12 Angels, who is the Haredi investment fund.
I'm Debbie Oziel. I run people operations and talent acquisition for Cross River Israel. Cross River is a fintech company with a banking license based in New Jersey, powering creating infrastructure that powers the future of financial services. Our involvement with KamaTech as well has been through recruitment of the young women that they help educate, and in the creation of a joint boot camp where almost 2 years ago we started by recruiting 10 young women who are today extremely successful developers in our company and have continued recruiting with them ever since.
Martin Reisner, CEO and founder of Phone.do. Phone.do is an amazing venture designed to disrupt a huge market of hundreds of billions of dollars per year. The BPO market is going to work with freelancers due to our revolution leading and amazing technology we are developing. We are already serving thousands of businesses worldwide, and we dealing with the exponential growth that keeping us very busy these days. We have set up R&D in Jerusalem 2 years ago. We are currently employing 100 people, which 35 of them are in the development team. All women, all ultra-Orthodox, all juniors, which didn't have the chance to experience any to acquire any experience anywhere else. And we have recently completed a seed round of $6 million from Glilot, Mangrove, 12 Angels, and yesterday we received a big grant from the Innovation Authority. We intend to break the glass ceiling very soon and to be the first ultra-Orthodox unicorn. Thank you very much.
I'm Ysrael Gurt, co-founder and CTO of Reflectiz, a cybersecurity startup in the area of third-party security of applications. About the relation to the ultra-Orthodox community, I'll let you imagine what is the relation of me on the ultra-Orthodox community. But we're also hiring and have a lot of great talent from the ultra-Orthodox of the developers. And also thanks to Moshe and Avrami that helped us from the beginning. We kind of successful today. I think that's it.
So I want to start with a general question to all of you. First, I want to thank Amir Rapoport for setting up this conference and this special panels about diversity in the high-tech, which is such an important issue. But I want to ask, do you think diversity in the high-tech and diversity bringing ultra-Orthodox and also other minorities, by the way, it's not minorities, it's already the majority. I just joke with Hans Shakur that Haredim and Arabs today are already the majority of the country, or going to be the majority. But do you think it's doing good thing, it's something good for the state, you're doing it out of a sense of do something good for the country, or do you believe there is a real business opportunity by doing diversity and bringing ultra-Orthodox and others into the workforce? What do you think about it? Arik, maybe we'll start with you.
The Israeli economy depends on the technology industry. We all know that. Last year, a record was broken because more than 50% of the Israeli exports are from technology. And this is the only part that is really growing, that is really productive. We don't have a choice. We need to continue to grow the technology industry. And in this day and age, and this is not something new, I mean, Daddy Perlmutter was here before talking about, is leading actually a committee by the government that talks about shortage in talent. We have a lot of money flowing in. This is Raoul's job, my job. We bring this money, we invest it in Israeli companies. And today, we are actually exporting jobs, because if we look at what's happening now in the Ukraine, there are dozens of thousands of employees of Israeli companies that live there. Some of them obviously now have difficulties in fulfilling their job. While here in Israel, we have a lot of populations that are not really represented in the technology industry, due to many reasons. A big part of it today is still the ultra-Orthodox community, ultra-Orthodox men and also ultra-Orthodox women that today are pretty much concentrated in very specific parts of the Israeli technology industry. And this will have to change. It is good for the Israeli economy, which is important, because no matter what you believe in, we all want to live good life, and for that we need good economy. But it also will make, I believe, the Israeli society stronger and more a nicer place to live in.
I just want to echo what Rabbi Level said before. It's an opportunity for everybody. It's actually not just a nice thing to do. I think there is a need for the Israeli economy to employ more people in the tech industry. The general talent has been exhausted, and the only places where you can actually get more talent is actually in the Orthodox community and the Arab community on the one hand. I think on the other side, the Orthodox community today is too big to continue living the way it has lived for many, many years. There are many people that have made a clear decision to go out and work, and it is an obvious route for these people to actually join the tech community because of the talent, because of their skill set, and because of actually of the years of studies that are not as obvious, I think, for everybody. But today, in this day and age, you can get engineers from the Technion, but you need people to think differently and to be more diverse to create actually successful companies.
Debbie?
So at Cross River, we have a value that says do good before we do well. And so when we look at our diversity and inclusion or our hiring of members of the ultra-Orthodox community, there is an element of doing good. We have the privilege of being able to hire a group where there is a talent shortage and a tremendous amount of talent hungry to work, and as well correct a system where oftentimes that underrepresented group has been underpaid. So while we are always going to hire the top talent, we're blessed to be able to pay our top talent no matter what background they're from, and are privileged when that happens to be somebody who's from the ultra-Orthodox community, top market salaries. And so it allows us to be more inclusive and always hire the top talent at the top market. And when it benefits the ultra-Orthodox community, everyone wins.
I don't see it as a mission. I don't think I employ ultra-Orthodox juniors because from a place to desire to do something good. I see it purely as a strategic business decision. When I come to hire, I see only two threshold conditions under my eyes. I'm looking for very smart people, and I'm looking for people with a strong desire to succeed. I think the experience they will get within a month. And experience is not always advantage. Sometimes it comes with prejudice. I believe that there need to be a big change in the way that recruiters are looking at these huge resources that under their noses, and they are missing it now. Because when you go to the talent track, you are just another step on their way to the next destination. When you go to the ultra-Orthodox junior, you have the opportunity to take a very good material and to mold it exactly to your need. And they will if they will feel Iceland of stability in your place, they will help you to build a company. They will not look for the next job. They will just help you to build a stable company?
Thank you.
I can only add to what everybody else already said here, but I can say that for us, we had a lot of struggle to hire tech people today, and everybody know about this struggle today. And we never try to go to any kind of community. We just get what we have, but without any limitations. So we don't we haven't come with the thought before that we need only people from this community. We get everybody, so this is why we get the ultra-Orthodox. But it's also very important if you talk about the importance of hiring people from diversity, especially for us as a cyber company, and this is Cybertech. Especially for cyber companies, if you want to get a more complete solution to for your customers, you need to have many and as much as you can point of views to understand what's happening and to attack the problem from different angles. And if you take people from many different communities, you get the diversity, the different points of view. So it's not only the reason to hire good people that won't go to other places, and because we have a lot of struggle to find people. This is also important to make your company better, to have people for as much communities as you can.
Thank you for this, but I want to get in a little bit deeper to more difficult questions. Debbie, I want to start with you. You are an international company, very successful fintech startup. You can hire whoever you want to hire. You have the budget to do it. Why hire Haredim? Maybe their education is maybe less. Maybe to employ Haredim is difficult. You have all kinds of restrictions and special needs. Why do you do it? Why really, and how you do it? If you can hire anyone from the Hebrew University or Technion or the Army, why are you still hiring Haredim?
I think there's a number of reasons for that. And one of them certainly is the fact that our owner and CEO is somebody who is ultra-Orthodox, and he feels very passionate about this. But even more so, I have seen when we do people operations analytics, and I look back and I see performance and retention and dedication, I have seen higher averages overall among our Haredi developers. Here we're the R&D site for Cross River, so the majority of our 130 employees are developers or in some sort of IT operations. So in general, the performance of our Haredi employees has really been stellar. And in addition to that, certainly it's challenging, and we are always striving to be considerate of the values and the environment that our ultra-Orthodox employees are looking for, and it requires us to be considerate of that, the same way that we are considerate of each and every employee and what motivates them. I think when you're looking to hire top talent, especially when you want to remain diverse, it's important to understand what core competencies you're looking for and how to interview for that. And very often people get tripped up when they're saying, I want somebody to be a cultural fit. They often mistake that with, I want it to be somebody I can go grab a beer with. And I think when you're striving for diversity and you're trying to understand what real skills and talent somebody brings, you have to understand the ideas and the values that they share and that they hold. And so it's understanding that. And what we found with our ultra-Orthodox hires is that, sure, we do have to be considerate that they may want to use a kosher phone or not have a smart device, and we have ways to work around that. That being said, when you can provide somebody an opportunity because you're looking past their religious beliefs, and rather at the ideas and the talent that they have, provide them an opportunity that is considered of their values and beliefs and cultural considerations, whether it's allowing them to work from home or giving them a space that is more considered in terms of the levels of kosher or just the ambiance that's being created among their colleagues in their workplace and the respect that's been developed. But beyond that, when you as well treat them as the top talent they are like anyone else and pay them the same that I would pay any talent that comes from any part of the population in any location in the country, I think that certainly helps. And so why? They have been dedicated, hardworking, resourceful. For the most part, I find that when they're working, they're with you 100%. They believe in a concept of not stealing time, which is something that I think many of us don't always think about. So I find that they take that concept very seriously for the most part. So when they're working, they're on because they want to make sure to not take advantage of their employers. And it's not that others don't have that, but it's something that I certainly see as a value that is core to our ultra-Orthodox employees. And you really see that in their productivity, which any company could benefit from.
Thank you. The next question is for Raoul and Arik, both of you. You are both leading venture capital firms and you're investing in companies in Israel and in the world. Do you think the diversity in the Israeli startup ecosystem in Israel is like what we see in the US or in Europe or different, better or less? Where do you stand in this measurement of diversity?
I lived for many years in the US, worked there as an entrepreneur, as an executive in technology companies. I think that we have a lot to learn from our peers across the ocean. When you go into a technology company in the US, I think it's much more diverse in terms of races, in terms of genders, in terms of religious beliefs. This is the American society. It's also an immigrant country, and specifically when you look at the technology industry, most of the people that actually work there are immigrants, and more than 50% of the PhD students in computer science in American universities are non-Americans. And you learn to work with that, because I had employees from all over the world working for me, different cultures, different accents, different religions, and we all worked together, and it was very successful, and I believe that it also helps creativity, because when you work in a technology company, you want to have a creative workforce, and creativity is about the product, it's about the development, it's about the way you market and sell your product. So it's an essential part. And if you have a company that is very monolithic or homogeneous, then you lose this part of creativity. And I think that today, if you look at the history of the Israeli technology industry, and I'm a graduate of 8200 myself, we tend to copy our startups. They all look the same. It's like white men, right? It's like you go into a typical startup here in the Tel Aviv region, and they're all concentrated not so far away from here, and they look the same. They are friends bringing their friends, and I'm talking about young, early-stage companies. This has to change. It's our responsibility. It's the responsibility of the founders, of the executives of the startups, and basically of everyone that is involved to keep an open mind and look outside. There is a big need, as we said before, but also, and this is not what it used to be like 10 years ago, you have also more opportunities to people hire not from your own circle.
20 years ago, or now 30 years ago, I went to Columbia Business School, and one of the titles in school was diversity. And I looked at it coming from Israel, an immigrant country, and I said, what is diversity? I had no idea, actually. And, you know, when I look back and said 30 years ago, New York City was talking about diversity. When I'm here in Israel today, and this is what we look like, I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest. But on an anecdotal basis, and I think it does make a difference, I placed somebody ultra-Orthodox in one of my companies, and I pushed really, really hard with HR to get him admitted over there. He was not up to level. And I had to push really hard, CO. And HR actually stood up and said, this is not going to be an 8200 white male company, and we will take this person. They put him through a rigorous program. 6 months later, I got a phone call from the CEO and said, Raoul, can you send me some more? And I think, to me, there's a change today. People are willing to do the change. They understand the need. By the way, they're pushed by the shortage of people. I think there is still one little piece that misses, is really to jump in that pool. water is a bit cold there when you get there in the beginning. And then once you get used to it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. And everybody talks about it. I think, there's a little bit more that needs to be done. And I think it's all going to happen if each of us are going to place one person at a time. Every single company, another one, another one, another one. People are going to get used. And as the rabbi said before, it's going to be a big benefit for everybody.
Wonderful. Martin and Israel, both of you are Haredi entrepreneurs who started startups. I see entrepreneurs in the audience. There are not many Haredi startups that manage to raise money from top VCs, like both of you, that you managed to do it. What is your advice for Haredi who is starting his own startup? He wants to get investments from top VCs. He wants to follow your footsteps. What is your advice for them?
I can only say from my experience, the best advice, nobody gave me this advice, but it happens, is to connect with you guys. And without you, I don't think it would happen. So, and until now, I don't understand what was the reason for
our
you.
superpowers that we know, Raoul and Arik.
But through you, I got to know Arik, which I don't know what is he, Haredi or ultra Haredi, but you call him Rabbi Arik. But in my eyes, it's a big issue because we met with a lot of ventures, and when they see your face, some of them they say, okay, you are different, and some of them they don't say anything, but they all feel the same. This is not. I don't think this is something that I can give advice how to change. This is something you will need to answer.
I also believe that in the future it's going to be a little bit more easier for a Haredi entrepreneur to raise money and everything. I know one truth. I know that if you have a good company, somebody will invest in your company. You can't have moderate company. You need to have a good or a great company to get an investment, because you have another barrier to go, and it's more difficult for sure. But I think that Avis is saying we try harder because they are the second in the world. So maybe we need to try harder, and maybe if you are a Haredi entrepreneur, and you try harder, you might go to and get a better company. And I think this means that probably most of the Haredi startups that will succeed will be amazing companies, and we know a few examples until today.
Few of them are sitting here.
But also, in the future, it's going to be easier. But right now, yes, you need to prove that you are good. There is communities in the world that, I don't know, in San Francisco, you know that if this somebody from India, he has a great disadvantage for him, because everybody knows that the India map are great and creating great startups, and they're ruling the Silicon Valley today. I believe that in the future, there's going to be also for Orthodox like this. But in the meanwhile, we probably need to work a little bit harder.
Wonderful. We're about to wrap the panel in a few minutes. I think each one of you is a pioneer in the world of in a lot of things, but also in this issue of integration of ultra-Orthodox. If I would ask you, what is your advice, maybe to the companies that are sitting here, maybe to the government, maybe to the Haredi people in the audience, what is your advice, what we should do to accelerate this process, to do more, to sit here next year in Cybertech and see a big process in the integration of Haredim? What would be your advice about this? Arik,
I'll pick that up just 1 second. I think my advice to the tech community in general is to open their minds, to be willing to accept something that's slightly different, and maybe to look actually across the ocean, where actually everybody that's good is being accepted and can actually succeed, and think beyond 8200 in general. So to me, that would be the first advice. And I think, it's just not thinking beyond, but yes, there's a need for the community also to handhold. Of course, people that have less of a network, like the Haredi community, people that have not gone through the same interpersonal, I would say, skill set and teaching needs to be, again, helped with that. But I think there is, on the other side, a group of people that are willing to learn, absolutely want to be integrated. And I think, if both sides are going to look at it, I think it's going to be very successful.
Wonderful.
I think that then I fully agree, obviously, with Raoul, but let's also look at the Israeli government. Okay, Dadi Perlmutter was here before. The Israeli government, Yair Lapid, the science and innovation minister, said we need to have 1 million people working in the technology industry, or 15%, or whatever the number is, because today it's only 10%. And it's a lot of talking, but not really a lot of doing. So they're forming committees, and we know what a committee can do. I think that when you talk to a government official today, and you think about the relationship between the ultra-Orthodox community and the government, it's more about interest of the ultra-Orthodox communities when it comes to yeshivas and the religious lifestyle and all of this, but it's not about economy, it's not about education. And this has to change, because the Israeli government is willing to invest a lot of money, is actually already investing, but not in the right places. So this dialogue, and Martin and Phone.do got now a grant from the Israel Innovation Authority. This authority has about 2 billion shekels a year budget. How much of it is really invested in opening or strengthening the relationship between the ultra-Orthodox community and the technology industry? I think that it's like small. And the dialogue needs to be extended, not about just the traditional issues, but the leaders of the ultra-Orthodox community or activists such as yourself need to be there in front of the Israeli government, and not about the politician, about the professional people within the Israeli Ministry of Economy, the Israeli Ministry of Science, and because the politicians come and go. But the people that actually are running the offices, these ministries, are there for a long term, and once they realize that this is the potential and you have to talk about it, I think that it's going to be very, very helpful.
Thank you. Debbie, do you want to add something?
Sure. I think my advice is mostly to those who are hiring. As a company where 30% of our employees are ultra-Orthodox, especially when there's a talent crisis out there, juniors who are being trained through various organizations such as KamaTech, especially when you give them a great environment and challenges and career opportunities, are going to be loyal and grow inside your company. So I would say it's about also opening your eyes, like those of you have said, and trying to look a little bit beyond the exterior of what the ultra-Orthodox person who's sitting in an interview looks like. Try to understand their lingo, try to understand their culture, and see the opportunity from a merit place, from a merit perspective, not just from a diversity token hire, but to understand the return on investment is enormous. In addition, when you do have grants from the government, those also do help your bottom line, and that's a cherry on top. And so I do think there needs to be a little bit more of those types of initiatives and more of an understanding from different companies of what kind of talent is really out there. And as you have also said, look beyond the shmona matayim and see the talent that's out there and the dedication and desire to be a part of the high-tech community.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. So the other advice we'll keep for next year, Bezrat Hashem. I want to thank our distinguished panelists for sharing us their experience and wisdom, and hopefully next year we will double and triple the amount of ultra-Orthodox in the high tech in Israel. Thank you so much.